questions, or need prayer, email Annamarie at 5minutesadaywithgod@gmail.com. Be sure to like and subscribe to our videos so that more people can hear the Word of God.
Good morning and welcome to Thursday. So we are looking at the story of Moses. Right now we are in Exodus, and we are in Exodus 2, verses 11 through 22. And I'll go ahead and read that. One day after Moses had grown up, he went out to where his own people were and watched them at their hard labor. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his own people. Looking this way and that and seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. The next day he went out and saw two Hebrews fighting. He asked the one in the wrong, "Why are you hitting your fellow Hebrew?" The man said, "Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses was afraid and thought, "What I did must have been known." When Pharaoh heard of this, he tried to kill Moses, but Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to live in Midian, where he sat down by a well. Now a priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came to draw water and fill the troughs to water their father's flock. Some shepherds came along and drove them away, but Moses got up and came to their rescue and watered their flock. When the girls returned to Reuel their father, he asked them, "Why have you returned so early?" They answered, "An Egyptian rescued us from the shepherds. He even drew water for us and watered the flock." "And where is he?" Reuel asked his daughters, "Why did you leave him? Invite him to have something to eat." Moses agreed to stay with the man who gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses in marriage. Zipporah gave birth to a son, and Moses named him Gershom, saying, "I have become a foreigner in a foreign land." All right, so we're going to stop right there. And so we see Moses, and the next time we see him is 40 years later. So that's, sometimes the Bible has these gaps that we want to go, "Oh, I wish that there was more details," right? We would have loved to kind of seen a picture of what it was like for Moses growing up in the palace. But the next time we see him, he's 40 years old. He's already grown. And what we know about Moses is we know that he knows who he is. He knows that he's a Hebrew, right? And he has sympathy for his people. And in Hebrews 11, in the faith chapter, it tells us that he chooses to identify with the people of Israel rather than the Egyptian prestige and opportunity, right? He could reject his Hebrewness, so to speak, and fully embrace being an Egyptian, but he didn't. And when he saw an Egyptian being a Hebrew, he reacted, right? Because he had compassion. And he saw himself in Acts chapter 7, 23-25. We also see a little glimpse into this. And he saw himself as a deliverer. It was his expectation. He knew who he was. He knew that he was a Hebrew, and he knew that he had all this privilege of being raised in status in the Egyptian palace. So he thought maybe that he could deliver his people, but it wasn't the timing, right? It wasn't God's timing. And of course, he reacted. His reaction caused him to murder someone, and then when that sin came out, he hid and he ran away. And so he had to experience a place of humility before he could come back as their deliverer. So what we see is that he runs away to Midian. And there was a Midian priest there that had 7 daughters, and he married one of them, Zipporah. And so what we know about the Midianites is that they were one of the descendants of Abraham's other sons through Keturah, right? Abraham, he had, of course, Ishmael, and then Isaac, the promised one, or the one through the covenant. And then he had 5 other sons through his second wife, Keturah. And so we know enough that these these people could have, they were worshiping Yahweh. So we have every reason to think that this Midian priest was someone who worshiped Yahweh. And so God leads him there to this place where he can be safe. And what's interesting there is while he's there, he learns to be a servant and he learns to be a hard worker. So nothing is wasted. So he's 40 years in the desert where he's going to develop, and he's going to experience humility, and he's going to also experience what it means to be a hard worker. And because he probably had a little bit arrogance, right? Thinking, yes, I'm the one, right? I'm Hebrew and I know the Egyptians' ways, and here I am going to avenge my people. And it wasn't God's timing. So lots of times God calls us to something and we think, here I go, let me go. And God's saying, no, you need to be trained, you need to be developed, and you need to wait on my timing. So lots of good nuggets here. Have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, 5 minutes in the Word can change your life.